It's your time for another most special and yummy update, friends. So I've already shown you it's a conspiracy super cycle. I covered this for you earlier in Juicy News. The blue pill cucks are really having a bad time now because that hotel cuck chair, I mean, they've been warming it up for a long time, friends. We had RFK, as I covered here for you on Juicy News, RFK confirming that organ donors were literally being killed on the hospital bed when there was a 50-50 chance of them living. Obviously, there's some tip-offs coming off to them because someone might need a lung or a kidney. Maybe they want that guy's pointy elbow, right? That's why, my friends, my pointy elbows are definitely not on the organ donor list. That's wild, man. Isn't it crazy? So he confirms that it's true. That's absolutely, that's wow. All of these conspiracies, man, turns out to be true, huh? So yeah, there are videos of just hospital patients dying. They're still breathing, man. There's still 50-50 chance of them living. And they're like, oh no, 50-50. Okay, you're done. Just so they can get a payment. Well, that's what happens, right? What other conspiracies will be confirmed later, though? Aliens and all their races. We live in a simulation and there's plenty more to come. I want to throw that out here for you because if we're talking about conspiracies, I mean, you got the motherload of conspiracies in crypto. The pDAI conspiracy, right? Can it make its way to $1 dooney and ping pong there? That's the motherload. You can actually speculate on conspiracies out here. Here you have it, still around 0.5 cents. There's some GT action going away. It's kind of funny, friends. I saw this comment by Gainsey. Basically goes, well, he goes, just getting conspiracies right. He goes, it's the biggest waste of time because you predict it right, like the Epstein files, and then nothing happens. Yeah, it's true. It's true though. No, it's not true. It's true in that sense, but you got to think deeper. Most of these conspiracies, not all of them, but most, I mean, let's look at the motherload, the alien conspiracy. A lot of it is to do with the government. The government is spending trillions of dollars out there and they're hiding it from the public. Are US politicians pocketing that money? No. What's actually happening is the science is way more advanced than they're teaching the kids at school. Way more advanced. We can manipulate gravity, space-time. Who knows what they got? I mean, they have a lot of stuff. Like, they have their alien tech. We don't know if they can reverse engineer all of it, but they've been able to reverse engineer a lot, right? 0-point energy and this torus field and all these other things out here. So we definitely know that's real. So that's where remember, Catherine Fitz, $21 trillion was pretty much tornado cashed, right? Now, obviously, not all 21 trillion exits. Maybe 10% of it. A couple of trillion. But you got to think, right? If they're doing that, where are they getting the money from? Oh, they're printing. It's coming from the money printer. If they're going to keep printing on the money printer, because there's pretty much a silent war. There's a cold war, friends, to see who can reverse engineer tech between China, USA, Russia. They're all trying to see who can like reverse engineer it the fastest and do it the best. Obviously, America's ahead, but you don't really know, do you? So if you just assume that, you roll it forward, I mean, they're just going to keep printing, dude. You know, they didn't care about you and your purchasing power, right? Look at the stakes. The stakes are so high. So that's why I see things like that. And I'm like, well, you know what? Crypto should be 10 trillion, man. Crypto should be 10 trillion because crypto, remember, Bitcoin correlates to global M2. We have an 89% correlation. That means the money printers are still going to keep turning on. It like gives you even more validity to it. Check this Coinfessions Rekt out, friends. I converted my life savings to 140k euros into USDC in November 2024 last year. I bought Ethereum at 3,600 because crypto Twitter was calling for alt season. Then I watched it later in disbelief go to 1,400. On top of that, USD, I lost a lot of value against the euro. So my break even is now ETH at 4,100, the literal cycle top. So what I've said is this soy boy got to skip the whole 4-year bear market and is complaining about his entry in November 2024. Isn't that wild? And it's true. He literally got to skip 4 years of pain, 4 long years. Bear market down 99%, which a lot of coins still are. Absolutely wrecked. Chainlink down, everything down. XRP, it's had a little pop. It's still down against BTC big time. Everything's destroyed. He comes in at the very, 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 very end. He's like, this sucks. It's kind of funny, man. You look at it, it's just, you can't please everyone, right? So you shouldn't even bother. Man, it's kind of wild, man. Look what he got to skip, dude. Guy, you know, dude, you know there are people still holding from here. It's gone literally nowhere. And their alts are just down 90% from this period. Okay, literally this whole time. And he got to buy in here. And he's like, oh, look at the pain. And he's like, look at all this pain, dude. All this pain. Oh, man. It's funny, right? It's funny how it works. So I've written here, this is proof. Soy boys will whinge about just about anything. Don't see me crying. It's been tough, though. I also showed you this earlier, friends. We got to revisit it. Peter Schiff said, I don't own any Bitcoin, okay? He's got like a little $6,500 strategic reserve that people donated to him. I don't know why, but yeah, whatever. He says, I don't have any Bitcoin. He goes, I've got a lot more money in gold and silver mining stocks. So when I'll show this to you in Juicy News, I was highlighting that, look, man, he's rich enough. He doesn't need to understand Bitcoin. Yeah, that's just how the world works, friends. The hungry wolf will find a way. But when you are rich and wealthy already, it's not that it's impossible to get the answer or predict the future. It's just that your odds drastically lower. You know, that's what it comes down to. Here he is bragging that Bitcoin's up 27%, GDX is up 61%. So it's cope. I mean, look what it even says down here. Bitpulse. While Peter celebrates his paper gains, Bitcoiners secure real wealth with immutable code. Have fun staying tied to the old world. And then he replies, you mean imaginary wealth. To here he is saying, oh, it's all imaginary. It's all imaginary wealth. Says, oh man, it's just funny how people get in their own asset class and they do that. Here we have Shane. This is true. Peter was always right about the corrupt financial system. Quantitative easing, hard assets, and precious metals being valuable. Precious metals are actively suppressed. Yes, it's true. He was wrong a lot about crypto. And he's a pig or creep, apparently. Those posts were crazy. I guess he should just retire or something. Yeah, it's kind of funny. You know, it's taken out of context because he's a boomer. He's literally 65. You know what I mean? Didn't grow up in this internet age. Few on. GDX is up 120% over 3 years from its low. Crypto, we call that a slow Tuesday. He sold that he didn't get in as early as he'd like. Now he can't buy because people will just rip him. That's true. He did say on his on the Bitcoin conference, which for some reason he was invited to, he did say his biggest problem with getting in at $300 was that I think he says because people were buying it for like 10. Yeah. He's like, I just couldn't buy it. I couldn't buy it at 300 because people were getting in at like 10 to 30. You know, which that's why this you don't get it, man. It's network effects. It's Metcalfe's law. I mean, over here, you and I are here to mog all the non-believers. I mean, check this out. Thank you to Mr. Boys Club Maxi for making this video, man. This is cracker.
Who just beat the SEC in court and did not settle and did not have their case dropped. This guy. This guy. This guy.
Switch.
That's awesome, man. Awesome.
Switch.
So, we didn't care about gold, bro. It's analog. Anal og. Okay. Gold's going to pump, by the way. But well, it depends on what pump is. You know what I mean? Like, because Uncle Peter Schiff, friends, he's trying to become a billionaire. He said that, I think it was in Anthony Pomp podcast somewhere. He's trying to become a billionaire. And so, he doesn't need much for it to go. You know, because of gold's price now, he could be a billionaire now. Or maybe he's like 500 million to 800 million now. Because he was talking about it when gold was like 2,000, I think. You know, that's about 50%. So, just showing you, like, he's playing a different game. Oh, I really want to be a billionaire. It's kind of funny. He watched all the Bitcoiners become billionaires. That's why you really go down. You listen to it. I'm like, when I listened to that, it was like a 3-hour podcast or whatever. I'm like, oh, now I know why you're salty, Uncle Peter. It's because you've always, your whole life, he actually said he's been dreaming of becoming a billionaire on net worth his whole life. He's really wanted to get there. And then gold just never hit it. And for 10 years, just watched Bitcoin go up. And he could have been at what could have been, you know. Hopefully he gets over and wins. Ben Copen calling for $500 meth and Bitcoin dominance 70%. So I watched a show here with Crypto Banter. So pretty much, friends, he draws some sort of this, I forgot what these things are called, these little patterns here. Pretty much he says, okay, now that Ethereum's up, it's going to 5,700 and then it's dropping 90% to $500. So well, you're always going to have these things that are coming out here. Here's the thing, friends. When it comes to this, oh, thank you, Mr. J Plush. Thank you, Mr. Joy Plush as well. So when it comes to these, you got to remember, man, the average retailer thinks that Bitcoin dominance is just going to go down, and then they're going to have like this 4-month period to get top 10 hot altcoins, and they're going to buy them and they're all going to work. But they've done no research. They've done no work. They don't even know what altcoins to get. It's not going to be like that. There's too many. The competition is too fierce. You have no stablecoin or meme coin SuperCycle thesis. They have nothing. You literally have nothing. That's why it's going to be tough. I showed you this as well, friends. Joe McMahon out here, his fund is down. Oh my gosh. His fund is down 80% this year. What? Oh, wow. So he released the fund. Oh, no. I didn't know that. Look at the bottom he called, friends. Bitcoin to 400K. Soylana to $420. Ethereum is not worth owning. That was literally when Ethereum, I'm going to show you. I remember watching that. Ethereum was literally getting destroyed at the lows, right? At the cheapest prices. It was down here. I remember I was at the gym and I was listening to it. And I remember, friends, I stopped training a bit just to pause, and I was like making tweets and just showing you. I'm like, man, this guy is literally calling for Bitcoin dominance 75%. Willy Woo is calling for 90%. He's saying Ethereum's not worth owning. I'm like, oh man, like it's just all the things are lining up. And that's why it's like dangerous, because here's the thing, friends, like he was correct. He got bonk early. Let me show you what he did with bonk. So bonk, friends, check this out, right? This is the bonk sol ratio, all right? So bonk sol. So obviously if this chart goes up, bonk is outperforming sol. Remember, bonk is just a dog meme coin on Soylana, and he was long in 2023. So even if you're long here at an average price, look what ends up happening. You made 20x on soy. 20x. Right? That's why everyone looked at him. By the way, you're still up like 9x on soy. Huge, right? So that's why when he was in the interview, this is what, like, rubbed me a bit the wrong way, right? And I don't like being rubbed by dudes, okay? So he says, oh, so obvious. He goes, of course, Soylana is going to be the one with the world most adoption. I was like, obvious, huh? That's the thing, friends. Everyone, whenever it goes up for them, it was so obvious. Yeah, how come you don't find the last 5 unicorns in a row? How come they only hit 1? Okay, and by the way, if it was so obvious, why is your fund down 80% this year? Joey? How come you're literally short Ethereum? You're short on meth under 2,000 still. And you're long on soy after the president already launched a meme coin on it, by the way. Stablecoin SuperCycle. 55% of them are on Ethereum. See, friends, see how it's like we can see it and we're like, hey, how come all this other stuff was obvious to you, but that's not obvious? So what people do is, friends, you know, it's the ego part, right? Because something works for you and it wins, and you're like, oh, it was just so obvious, because like you really, no one wants to think that they're like lucky in anything, right? No one wants to think that they're lucky. But you know, friends, if you ever hear it, let's say all our portfolios do crank. If you ever see one of those interviews on me and there's like a dark room, or maybe Scotty Boo Milker brings me up. He's like, oh, how did you see this? You know what I mean? Was it the pointy elbows? Was it the cold orange juice? Was it the fluffy slippers? I'm like, I don't know, man. Maybe it's just a bit of luck. I don't know. I just watched Richard. I'm like, that's weird how everything is being called a scam, but the community stays. And I started investigating more, and then Pulse Chain sacrifice. I don't know. You know what I mean? Like, that's what it is, friends. Like, you can't have like this certainty about it, man, because markets continuously come out and humble you. So that's why I've written here, right? He publicly bragged on Scott Melker's podcast. He's aggressively short Ethereum under 1,800. Yeah, friends, also, you really got to be careful. People who get success, okay, people want to go give them money. So some of them, they'll start up a fund. And they're like, oh, if you want to invest with me, here's a fund. And I'll take the performance fee. And I'll do all the moves. But what you don't know is that person's on a hot streak, okay? That person is now on a really hot streak, but you don't know that because they're just saying, I'm winning, I'm winning, I'm winning. I get everything right. I'm amazing. They keep saying that. And so everyone gives all their money to that person at the same time. And then what you end up finding out is they don't have a 90% win rate. You know, it's more like 60%. But when you have a 90% win rate for this period of time, and what seems like you're invincible, yeah, you've got to mean revert back to 60%, right? So how does that happen? Your next trades are like absolutely shocking. You know, you have like a 25% win rate to like mean revert it back. You know, so that's what happens when it comes to these. So I'm just helping you, because don't let your friends and family or yourself get fooled. But look, friends, someone's gonna come out like the next bonk guy or whatever, and they're going to make a lot, and they're going to say, I got a strategy that works. Trust me, someone is going to come out and they're going, oh, I did this strategy. I have a secret formula. I've got these 3 indicators, and I've got a 90% win rate. And here's my account. You know, and people are going to join onto it. Guess what? They're going to be the top for that indicator. It's going to start working a tiny bit, and then it happens all the time, okay? That's why we're staying focused, eyes on the price. It's kind of funny. He said Ethereum to 0 as well, and soy to take over the world. That's why when I say this, by the way, this is Kyle Salami as well. Kyle Salami, Soylana flipping Ethereum. Look, man, maybe it does. Maybe it does. I'm just saying. Vince. It's wild. But even look at this, right? At least your Soylana buys at $16 to $19 have you covered for this loss. Facts. So he says, I'm never investing into a liquid crypto fund again. How the F am I down 10 million through the first half of the year? Okay, so that's kind of funny, friends. So what you like, this is why it's tough, okay? Why I'm just showing you complexities of the game. People, when they make money, they get more braver with their bet taking. They get more confident. So they can afford more slip-ups. Yeah, but if you're with a fund or this other game mechanics, new money has been onboarded in, customers, community people who haven't had your previous win, but they're just going to take your next big risk. See how dangerous that is? So this guy, yeah, he's long Soylana from 19 bucks. Okay, he's up 10x. Yeah, he's up 10x. He can weather this loss. What about all the people who were in meth? Maybe they're in Pulse Chain. Maybe they're in anything else. And they've sold the lows of that to go put it in the fund. Because they're like saying, oh, this guy's got a 90% win rate. And he's been right about everything. He got bonk early. He's an amazing trader and investor. He's on the podcast. It's cool. Do you see? Right? That's why, friends, it's not about how like smart the person is. This happens every single time, man. So you've learned a lot today. We're going to keep our eyes on the prize. I've got more yummy updates coming for you soon. Like, subscribe. Catch you in the next one.